Hello, 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 and welcome back to Reconnect TV. This is my live weekly series on my page where I give you some really helpful tips and hints and actions that you can take to create more success in your life, more freedom, more ease, tap into your power and purpose, and increase your impact and income. And today I'm going to be talking about raising your frequency. So let me know when you're coming on live. Let me know if you're watching on replay where you are. Are you a newbie? Are you someone who's not watched me before? Or are you someone who's following me regularly? I'd love to know who I resonate with and who my message speaks to. So yeah, if you want to join me live, hop on now. So, and for those of you who may be new, who may not know me, my name is Faye Semple, and I am a spiritual and energy embodiment coach for successful female entrepreneurs. I help them unlock their power and purpose and increase their impact and income. And I do this through working with energy. Energy is not just some woo-woo ethereal term. Energy is absolutely underpins everything. It's how we feel about ourselves, how we approach and engage with our life, with our business, with our relationships. But also this energy is real. We are surrounded by energy, the energy of the universe, the energy of the cosmos. When we go into science and obviously things like geobiology, they have very real names, these energies, and we are brought up to exist within them. But unfortunately, within a lot of modern life, with urbanization and just technology, we have become detached and lost our understanding and connection to many of these energies. And it has a direct negative impact on our wealth, on our health, and our happiness. And I've been blessed to always see these energies real with my day-to-day vision. I see frequency waves and all sorts of things. And that enables me to pinpoint exactly what's going wrong in a person's life, in their body and in their environment, and get them back on track. That's how I work. That's how I roll, people. So yeah, today I want to give you some tips to help you raise your frequency, raise your vibe, because so many people just sort of going around in a state of negativity, and that's not helping us attract really what we want. It's not helping us attract what we want in our lives. So I'm just going to share this on my page if I can, so that I can let's just refresh that page so I can see. So if you're joining me live, let me know if you're here live. If you're joining me on replay, let me know if you're here on replay, so I can see people watching. Give me a thumbs up, give me an emoji, let me know where you are, say hello, just let me know basically you're upright and you're breathing like me. It's a wonderful day, sun is out. So yeah, raising your frequency. It's been very easy over the last 18 months, hasn't it, with COVID, last year really, to get really get sucked into the negativity that's often out there in the world. COVID isn't easy. The economic stress on people is not, it's real, it's not easy, but that can really bring our vibe down if we allow ourselves to get sort of sucked into that negativity. So I want to give you some tips to help you really raise your frequency and attract the abundance that you deserve. So the first tip, first and foremost, is really become more and more yourself. So number one, be true to who you are. We hear this a lot, don't we, about be authentic, speak your truth. Your truth is a light for other people, and it's a beacon for others to recognize that you have been through similar experiences to them, that you have triumphed, and that's why you have the business that you do. That's why you offer the service that you do. So really fess up and be more and more yourself. Now, I work a lot with spiritual women working with energy. I work with women who want to work with the soul of their business, or they're working with the divas of the landscape. And for a lot of them, the big success breaks come when they admit that they work with energy in that way, that they admit that they talk to the landscape and hear it speak back to them. But there's a big fear block of doing that because they think it's going to repel people. I long ago held up my hand and said, when I work with the soul of your business to create success, or the spirit of your home, or the nature consciousnesses, to me they are conscious, and I have a direct dialogue with them that enables me to help that client to create the best environment and to be working with the co-creative forces of reality. We don't create alone. We're not masters of the universe. We are one part of one bee in the hive of life, and we co-create with many other consciousness and elements. So working out what our place is, it's much easier when we are true to who we are. So, you know, are you speaking your truth? You know, or are you engaging with people who are going, oh, that'll never work? And you're going, yeah, perhaps it won't then. And inside you're going, ah. Are you engaging with people who don't honour you, who don't respect you, who don't listen to you? They don't have to agree with you, but are you listening? You know, are you surrounding yourself with the right people? And are you able to speak your truth? Are you able to be heard? Are you able to listen to other people? All of that comes from being true to ourselves. And a lot of that is connected to boundaries. Now, when I look back at my own life and I look back at the phases that weren't good, when I was unhappy, or I was scarce of money or love, a lot of that shit show came down to poor personal boundaries. I didn't know how to say no. I was a people pleaser. I would try and be everything to everybody. And I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to say no with grace. I didn't know how to say no with love. You know, not everybody we want to say no to aggressively like a machete. There are a lot of the times we just need to say no. I can help you, but I can't help you now. Or I have other priorities. You know, it's a problem for you, but it's not a problem for me. How do we say those things with grace? So learning to be true to yourself inevitably involves you reinforcing your boundaries. So the first tip today is be more and more yourself. Respect your own boundaries. Also respect the other people. You know, don't be afraid to say no, but also don't be afraid to receive a no. Just because someone says no doesn't make it all about you. You know, you don't have to wander off into the corner going, oh my God, they've said no, I'm a failure. They're saying no because something going on in their life. It's often not a reflection of you, but we internalize this rejection all the time. And this is about knowing your self-worth, being true to yourself, and having firm boundaries. So that's tip number one. Learn how to be more and more yourself. Now, number two, I touched on this a minute ago. Who are you surrounding yourself? What is your environment like? So this isn't just your physical environment. You know, is your home doesn't have to be perfect. My home is far from perfect. You know, I'm still renting this house, buying my own later in the year again after a very long protracted divorce. Won't go into that now, won't want to bore you with the details. So, but you know, your environment is not just your physical environment, and this is one of the things I do help women with, but it's also who are you surrounding yourself with? What media are you consuming? What magazines are you reading? Are you constantly scrolling through horror stories on Facebook? Are you reading women's magazines that'll have some garish story about how I and my daughter was raped by my housemate or something? You know, that kind of thing really is voyeuristic and brings our vibe down. You don't want to be engaging with that. You really don't. It has a negative effect on how the neural pathways work. You're wired looking for negative all the time rather than creating an expectation of success and wonders and joy and being optimistic. So really look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Who's popping up in your Facebook feed? Whose Twitter feed are you following? Who are you looking at on LinkedIn? What positive vibes are you getting from Instagram, or what other social media you read? What magazines are you reading? What newspapers are you subscribed to? What television programs are you watching? All the kind of stuff that we consume from out there in the world is implicit with other people's ideology about how the world works. What are women's roles? What are men's roles? How does the economy affect us? There's little bits of information that percolate down through that kind of media all the time, and it sits in our subconscious, and it affects how we think and feel about things. It affects our conception of the world, and it affects our expectations of things that we may never have any experience about, but we're basing that experience then on what somebody else has said about it. So really look at the media and the consumption of stuff that you're looking at. So look, are you surrounding yourself with successful people? Are you looking online at people who inspire you, fire you up. People who've created success and go, well, they've come from there, they've done it, so can I. So your environment in many ways is really important. So, you know, keeping your home reasonably organized, decluttered, is also incredibly important. So, you know, one of the things I specialize in is the energy in women's environment. So the energy in your home. Now, this may sound quite sort of domestic, if you like, and quite sort of, oh, you know, what's that got to do with business? But actually the energy in your home, I'm not talking about woo energy. I'm talking about the very fields of energy that are emitted by the earth itself. Now, our brain is designed to sit within a range of electromagnetic frequencies emitted by the earth, and we are sensitive to that whole broad range of energies. Now, ever since I've been young, I've been able to see these energies real, like frequency waves in the air. Don't know how I see the electromagnetic spectrum. Something weird about my eyes, we know that. Not quite sure how it happens. But what I do notice is when those fields become interrupted or corrupted. Now, this can be the result of urban development. It can be the result of natural features under the ground, such as water or geology. When those fields get interrupted, that has a direct impact on our health, and it has a direct impact on our energy field, and it has a direct impact on how we think. So we can live somewhere that makes us feel great and enlivened and wonderful and go-getting, and we can take on the world. We can also live somewhere that actually brings us down, that makes us depressed, that makes us feel really unhealthy and unhappy, and we can't put our finger on why, and we get one complaint after another in terms of health, and everything just seems to go down. And we ask ourselves, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing? How do I need to shift my energy? How do I need to shift my mindset? What am I doing wrong? And we internalize it. And this is what I see a lot. And it's actually that the energy in our actual natural environment needs to be rebalanced. And this is one of the things I do. This is why Feng Shui evolved thousands of years ago. But there are many other forms of what's called geomancy, which is working with this energy. And it's now being increasingly studied in more modern fields like geobiology and building construction. All these things are now taking into account that there is a natural energy in the earth that our body is attuned to. It's like the feed mechanism for bringing in energy from outside. And we want to make sure we're wired into a healthy, energetic network. Like, we want to make sure we're looking at healthy stuff on the internet. Now, if the energy in the earth becomes corrupted, we can fall flat on our face, and all the effort and all the work that we are doing comes to nothing. And that is not our fault. That is the energy in the environment, which is one of the things that I really help women do, is to understand what a powerful and direct impact this energy has on us. It is not woo, it is very real, very physical, very mental, very spiritual, very emotional. We are part of the cosmos. We are influenced by it the same as everything else. When we sit out in the sunlight, we feel the sun's rays on our skin. We feel the heat. Now, we're very conscious of that. What we're not so conscious of is the direct impact of all these range of energies in our environment. So tip number 1, be more and more yourself. Tip number 2 is to be very aware of your environment. Tip number 4, tip number 3 even. That was clever, wasn't it? Held up 3 fingers and said 4. Tip number 3, can't count, obviously, is stop doing stuff that doesn't contribute towards your bigger goal. Stop making yourself available for people that are sapping your time and energy that you know aren't helping you be the best version of yourself. You know, people say, you know, many women I work with will go, well, it's really difficult, you know, because they're my family or they're my friends, and, you know, we've been friends for a long time. You know, it's okay to leave people behind on your journey. Sounds brutish, sounds harsh, but it is absolutely true. It is okay to leave people behind. We all have our own selves path. We all have our own journey. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life completely, but it does mean you might want to consider limiting the amount of time that you spend with people and what you talk to them about. If every time you go and see your parent, they're just telling you what a letdown you were, what a disappointment you were, don't go. Why should how is that helping you? And this comes back to boundaries. This is a real big boundary issue for a lot of people, is when they reach adulthood, is looking at their parents as a human being and realizing they're not some omnipotent people and they don't have absolute control of your life, because they don't. They're just people, made mistakes, have their experience. They almost just happen to be your parent. There can be karmic reasons why we're brought into family groups. That's fair enough. But you can't let past karma rule your experiences. You've come through to learn that lesson. If you let it take over, you're not actually learning anything. So tip number 3 was stop doing stuff that doesn't serve you and stop making yourself available to people that aren't support you. Tip number 4, get there in the end, is have a daily practice that really starts you off in a good vibe. Now, this can be a good morning routine, so that you set your alarm at a certain time. If you want to wake up to an alarm, I don't. I just wake up early. Trained myself over the years to do that, because I cannot stand alarms. Waking up to sudden noise in the morning gives me a nearly heart attack. So I know that didn't make me feel good. So I now go to bed and say I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock, and I wake up at 6 o'clock just like that. Trained myself every morning to do it. So have a good morning routine that makes you feel good when you wake up. If you're waking up every morning to the alarm or a clock radio and you're lying there groaning, thinking, I can't get out of bed, that's not a good start to the day. I notice when I fall out of pattern, if I don't wake up at 6 o'clock, it's normally because I've been going to bed that bit too late. I may not have been exercising as much as I wanted. I may not have ate as well as I should have done. So, things that raise your vibe. It might be, you wake up in the morning, you want to have a little bit of exercise, a stretch, or you want to listen to some high vibe music or something classical or whatever. But find out what makes you feel good first thing in the morning. It doesn't have to be what anybody else says. You don't have to journal if you don't want to. You might want to get up and pray to a picture of a fluffy kitten on your bedroom wall in the morning. Whatever works for you is what works for you. You don't have to do what anybody else says. I don't exercise first thing in the morning. I break my day up with exercise. I have work in chunks in the day, because I know I can't work for several hours or I go into this really single track vision. So I exercise. I also spend time at my allotment doing my gardening in the day, and I break my day up because that suits me. I don't do a solid 9 to 5 or whatever. I didn't become an entrepreneur to get stuck in that rut. So I changed it. So find out what's going to start your day and keep you high vibe, enough sleep, enough exercise, good food, and bring that habit in for a month. We really have to be disciplined in bringing this in, which is tip number 5. Commit to your new habits. Write them on a calendar or a journal that you're going to do them every day. Write them in advance, not when you've done them. Write them in advance and then tick them off as you get there if you find that helpful. But find a way that's going to enable you to commit to those new habits, because it's very easy to do it for a week, 2, 3, 4, and then we start sliding off. So creating success requires you to parent yourself. It requires you to have that discipline. If you're going to work in your own business, you have to be disciplined. It's not all unicorns, rainbows, and butterflies all the time. We have days as an entrepreneur when things aren't going so well, stuff looks like it's going to fall apart, or we don't feel like showing up and doing that live, or we don't feel like creating that content, we don't feel like having that coaching call. But you have to learn how to raise your vibe and show up as your best for your clients so that they get the best out of it. So being able to be disciplined in your habits is one of the key things. So committing to those habits, developing new habits and committing to them. And finally, what I want to talk about next is, is about celebrating your successes. I don't want you to sit there looking at all the things you haven't done. Celebrate the things that you have. Don't look at the things that you haven't achieved. Look at the things that you have. Having some kind of celebratory moment when something goes well. And it could but just be high-fiving your partner or your children when your income, you've received money. It could be, you know, celebrating when you've hit that weight loss goal or whatever it may be. But, you know, this is one of the things that I really like working with the moon for, because, you know, I set my goals with the new moon, and I have a gratitude and releasing practice at every full moon, which means because the moon is new and full every other week, every fortnight, then that gives me a regular pattern to celebrate my successes, assess what I've done, and release what doesn't work. So having some kind of celebration of your success, acknowledgement of your success, is really important. We so often concentrate on when things have gone wrong, and then when things go right, we go, oh, well, you know, it doesn't really matter because that went wrong. Yeah, forget that went wrong. Concentrate on what went right. So those are my tips. So number one was be more and more yourself and work on your boundaries. Number two was really look at your environment in all its forms and what you are consuming that could be negative or holding you back. Number three was stop doing stuff that doesn't serve you, and stop making yourself available for people who pull on your time and energy, and you're just, you know it's not right. And you know, don't you? We know when this is happening. We just often don't admit it to ourselves because we just have to face up to so many other things that have gone wrong, and it all seems overwhelming. So, but stop showing up for people that and stuff that really doesn't warrant your time or your energy. Number four was raise your vibe with a good morning practice or good routines that are going to keep your vibe high. So journaling, visioning, meditating, eating well, exercising well, having a good morning routine. And number six is commit to those habits. And I find a good way of committing to those habits is to follow things like new moon goal setting and full moon gratitude and forgiveness. Now, the new and full moon energies do actually affect our neurochemistry. When the moon changes, it does actually affect the chemicals released in our brain, so that we can be more sociable, or we can be more withdrawn, we can be more focused, or we can be way out there in the clouds. So working with the moon actually is a good time, because you're capitalizing on how your brain is already working anyway. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, the moon has a strong influence on our neurochemistry and our physiology, which it does. So working with the flow of energy, going with that flow, is a good way of committing to those new habits. So you set your intentions with the new moon, and you reassess and give thanks and celebrate all the good things that have happened in the last month at the full moon. And that keeps you ticking over with the general flow. I mean, one of the other things I help them with is working with the flows of energy throughout the year. You know, we have spring, summer, autumn, winter in our year. We have spring, summer, autumn, winter in our life. We have spring, summer, autumn, winter in our relationships. We can have spring, summer, autumn, winter in health. You know, these phases, these generic phases are implicit throughout our whole life, and they have a different quality to them. So embodying those qualities and accepting you are where you are in things. And you can be, you could be in spring in a relationship, but in your, in other parts of your life, you could be in autumn. You could be harvesting the money from all the hard work of raising your business, for instance. So it's really important to look at the various aspects of your life and where you are in all of them. So those were my tips, though. Be more and more yourself. Really look at your environment. Have some kind of really high vibe practices that do raise your frequency, so you're attracting all the good things and you're developing a conscious expectation of good things. Stop being available for all the stuff that doesn't serve you. Commit to your new habits, and indoctrinate that through some kind of regular practice. So that's been me. I'm Faye Semple. I'm the spiritual and energy embodiment coach for female entrepreneurs. So this is my weekly live series, Reconnect. If you want to hop over to my Facebook group, which is the Quantum Success Circle, please do. I will put the link below. On the 10th of May, I'm actually running a free 5-day masterclass called the Manifestation Experience. And this is going to go much deeper into all the things that we've spoken about this morning and so much more. There is so much more to raising your vibe, but all of it, when done, can be done really simply, really easily, and you will start to attract the success and abundance that you want to see in your life and in your business. We can do all the marketing strategies and copywriting and content creation in the world, but if our energy isn't aligned to what we want to create and what's going on just around us, then all that can come to nothing. It can be an uphill struggle. That means you're just not going to attract the clients, the abundance, you're not going to make the impact and income that you want, and you're not going to be able to unlock your power and your purpose effectively. It's all just going to seem permanently just that little bit beyond your reach and a little bit overwhelming. So I hope to see you in the Quantum Success Circle for the free 5-day challenge, the Manifesting Masterclass. So I'll see you all soon. Take care then. Bye.